him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack-a-McGobbin, it's time for the only news that matters. And veteran metal guitarist Yngwie Malmsteen spoke in an interview with Music Radar and revealed what he really thinks about AC/DC's legendary guitarist Angus Young. Malmsteen claims that Angus Young is a very underrated player, and here's why. He says, he's super tasty and always good. It's still blues though, even when he does his big solo. Classical isn't just little triplets here and there. It's your entire mind being released from the pentatonic box, a linear kind of playing, and no one really does that. It's all guitar players who listen to other guitar players who listen to other guitar players. There's a very incestuous line, and what's happening is people don't leave the pentatonic boxes enough. I play classical. You need to throw everything away and think in a completely newer manner. You know, what's your favorite AC/DC riff? I love them all, but Hell's Bells is amazing. So there you go, El Maestro, the Shredder, Yngwie J. Malmsteen praises Angus Young, calls him underrated, and I guess I would have to agree with that. Man, AC/DC, Angus Young, his solos are memorable, they sound thought up. It doesn't sound like some spontaneous thing. They do sound like thought up because there's some really cool solos where he does integral things in it and little catchy little things during it. And he's a unique guitar player. And yes, amazing how Yngwie was saying about it. You don't have to be like, Yngwie Malmsteen to admire what Angus Young does. And I have been on this AC/DC kick lately that I have every single AC/DC album that I've been listening to every time I go out in my car. I got the AC/DC discography, and I've been going through the early stuff, and I do see a difference. A lot of people think AC/DC's, all their albums sound the same. I don't think so. They are similar in a lot of ways, but then I think AC/DC, like, all right, their first albums was High Voltage, TNT, and Dirty Deeds in Australia. And all those three albums have that similar sound to it, But then the next album, Let There Be Rock, to me, it's like a total different band. Yes, they're doing what they were doing on the first three albums, but on steroids. Let There Be Rock, the guitars are nastier. Way nastier. They spit all over the guitar sounds of the first three albums. And the songs, man. The songs are much more refined. Like, I don't think there's a bigger FU song than Problem Child. Bad Boy Boogie's kind of the same too. To me, they are the ultimate FU song. If you crank either of those songs really, really loud, a middle finger will appear right in front of your face. The chemistry that Bon Scott with Angus and Malcolm and Phil and Mark and later Cliff was just undeniably awesome, man. It's just from the gut. No, there's no fanciness with what those guys did, but in their way, Bon Scott's way, he tried to get fancy at times, but he also got fancy in a way where it's sung from somebody that's not so fancy, like Sin City, fancy song, but hear how it's delivered. It's nasty. Sin City is nasty. And so is What's Next to the Moon. Ain't No Fun Waiting Around to Be a Millionaire. I can go on and on. The lyrics Bon Scott came up with, to me, they're the best. I can't think of anybody better than Bon Scott. Yes, we have Phil Lynott, okay? And Steven Tyler, David Lee Roth. Great, awesome lyricists. They're all awesome. But to me, it's Bon Scott, man. That's the greatest lyricist ever. And that snotty guitar, lead guitar going on with Angus, just making it even more nasty. It's like, if the lyrics aren't nasty and rough enough, here's Angus to put a staple on it, with Malcolm just grinding it out back there with Phil and Cliff, earlier Mark. Let me tell you, man, AC/DC rules. I love what Angus Young does on those guitar solos. It's like, it's just perfect for these songs, man. I mean, the Bon Scott years are mind-blowing. I love me some of that Brian Johnson stuff, especially the first 3 albums. Rock or Bust, believe it or not. Those are my favorites. But, no. The Bon stuff is undeniable. Now, Bon, like I'd say also from Let There Be Rock all the way up to Highway to Hell are similar. I mean, but, Power Age, my favorite, and Highway to Hell doesn't have the nasty guitar sounds that Let There Be Rock had, but it had the same kind of structures in the songs, because starting with Let There Be Rock, they started writing songs to punch you across the face. And then Back in Black came, and I thought that was a total different animal. I don't think that sounds like anything before it. There was a different structure to it. To me, it was more refined. And, it does have the AC/DC sound, but it's not identical to the earlier stuff, Mark Evans, and then, the Cliff Williams, and then Brian Johnson. I think they all sounded different, and then later on in the Brian years, I think it got a little different with Flying the Wall was a little different than Flick of the Switch, and For Those About to Rock and Back in Black up to, I'd say, Ball Breaker. Ball Breaker was kind of different. It was kind of like harkening back, but man, I'm talking a lot about AC/DC. You know why? Because I love AC/DC with a passion. Like I was talking about earlier, Problem Child. There's that part in Problem Child where it goes, I'm a problem child. And then Bon goes, hey! That rules so hard, And my mother hates me. I mean, all these little things he throws in that song. And, it's just genius. Same thing with Bad Boy Boogie. It's just genius. Bon Scott was a genius, and it's a damn shame I never got to see them. And those of you that did get to see them, man, that's awesome that you did, but I also hate you because I didn't see them. Bon Scott to me was the ultimate. If I could go back in time and see any band, I'm telling you, it would be Bon Scott. I'm talking about a band I've never seen ever in my life. Man, it'd be hard between AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Hendrix. Back in the day, Keith Moon, I would have loved to see. Oh, Thin Lizzy. All right. There's a lot of bands I want to see. But I'm just saying, man, if I could have seen Bon Scott, I would have been so happy, man. But I just missed it, man. I was too young to go to shows at the time, So, what a shame. Rest in peace, Bon Scott. And Angus Young, that's a guy that I think deserves the millions and millions and millions of dollars he's made through AC/DC, because that guy busts his ass more than anybody on stage. More than anybody. Even the last time I saw AC/DC, with Axl Rose, Angus did not stop. Did not stop. He doesn't stop. He's constantly doing the duck walk, running around, playing guitar, going up and down. The guy doesn't stand still, and he's been that way for 50 freaking years. So yeah, That's a guy that worked hard and still works hard as a multi-millionaire. All hail Angus Young. What do you all think? Leave it in the comments below. Do you think Angus rules? Awesome. You think he doesn't rule? Do you think he sucks? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. But hey, you can leave it in the comments below. Thank you all for watching The Only News That Matters. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell. I really would appreciate that. You know? And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath. And smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.